Right, take us away then, Mr. Pete.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start the show on a somber note, in that the Her Majesty the Queen passed away today, um, after 70 years on the throne. So yeah, it's a sad day. We were just talking about it, just before the show, and I thought we're not going to dwell on it. We want to have a cool show and everything, but obviously, I feel that as the only British show on the CW network, we it was our duty to kind of acknowledge it. I think, like we were saying before, that even if you're not a massive sort of fan of the royal family, I think, like, to me, it feels like losing a grandmother, because she's been around like of our whole lives, and she always seems like beyond anything else, just a really lovely person. Like, really loved her family, great grandmother and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's not a massive surprise. I think the surprise was more that we didn't get any real, it was very sudden. Um, yeah, so yeah, just rest in peace, Your Majesty, and we will start our new reign under King Charles III. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was. I just wanted to add that just at the start.
Yeah, it's a sad one. Like I say, she's always been about. She's just always been there. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
very weird
we.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So
Right.
yeah, R.I.P. Queenie.
Yeah.
So let's
Take
go
it.
straight in to the show.
You are about to listen to Only Fools and Collecting, a podcast for those who like a good moan about figure collecting and don't mind naughty words.
Just had to get that one in.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
so let's have a little look in the chat. We got Toy Mafia, TK592. What, that must have been an awkward christening. We got Lane. We got Coffinated Coffee fan even. We got Equan, Martin K. Who else we got? Who haven't I said hello to Car3 and Toy
Carthree,
Mafia.
yeah. Yeah. Toy Mafia
Hello,
first as always.
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, and welcome. So, while we're all very, very sad, let's have a look at the new shit we've picked up in.
New this fortnight.
Go on, Pete. Show us your wares.
Yeah, it's a good week for me. I think even just on the last show, I talked about wanting to pick up a So-So Toys Green Menace at some point to go with my classic suit Spider-Man and Miles Morales, and lo and behold, one popped up. Got it for 140 shipped, which I was
Nice.
pretty happy with.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really good figure. So I think it's one of their best. I haven't opened it yet. I've kept it there, and I've been waiting for just have an hour to myself to open it up and appreciate it, and I haven't really got that. So I'm hopefully this weekend I'll open him up. But yeah, looking forward to that. And then just yesterday, and surprised me because we're on a 2-day strike, aren't we, from Royal Mail at the moment.
It absolutely fucked everything up for me. Everything I
Yeah.
thought was going to turn up didn't, and then when I was quoted different dates, everything then turned up like the day before, and it was just
Yeah.
you don't quite realise how much you've come to rely on like the super quick delivery until
Yeah,
shit hits the fan.
So it was in the post, and it said, I think on Tuesday it came up. We expect to deliver your package on Wednesday. I was like, oh great, that's cool. It's going to come before the strike, and then that suddenly disappeared, and it just said it was at the local hub, and I was like, oh, they're gonna leave that now. I'm not going to get that till Saturday or Monday. And then about 7 o'clock at night, a parcel force van turned up, and it was there. So obviously they were working to get as much out as they could. So I appreciated that. So that came in late last night. Again, I haven't opened it up. We could talk about him a bit more in new releases, really, because since I haven't opened up my own personal copy yet. But it looks like a promising figure, and I see it very much as a little project, really. Bits and pieces. So yeah, and that was I think he was about 150. Because trouble with all of these things is they've all come out a little bit more expensive because we pre-ordered them a year ago, and obviously with the pound and everything, it's probably cost me about £10-15 more than he was when I pre-ordered. So probably about 150 he's come out at, but not too bad. Really heavy as well. I don't know why it's so heavy, whether it's the body or not. It feels really heavy, but
it does look as though it's on quite a beefy body.
Yeah, and it has got a quite a big base as well, so that might have some weight. But I think I'll do a body swap because people are saying that it's not very posable. And I've got some spare ones hanging around, and it might be that he needs something a little slimmer anyway. So because
he wasn't like beefy, and he wasn't the skinniest guy on the planet, was he?
Tall. He's a tall guy, and he's but he's not ripped or anything. So so I'm looking forward to that. You were saying you haven't got anything.
Fuck all 6 scale related. Got quite a bit of 40k bits and pieces, but nothing 6 scale that anyone would actually be interested in. So it's all just been like I said, I've been getting well into 40k and the models and stuff. So I'm buying files and printing stuff and buying like armies to paint, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot I could go. Look, I bought all this, but it all needs stripping and fucking about with.
You're gonna have to start your own spin-off show as well for the.
Do you know what? The rules are so complicated. Compared to when I used to play, they're a lot more complicated.
Right.
But the models are so much more detailed now, night and day. I thought because I painted 6 scale heads and stuff like that, because it's funny because I went from painting 40k models, 6 scale heads, and now I've kind of gone back to painting 40k stuff.
Yeah.
But the way you do it now is so different. It's so hard to. It's completely different kettle of fish. So I'm really enjoying almost learning how to paint again. But loving it. Absolutely loving it.
That's cool. Yeah, because you say about the rules, because my son's just got into role playing. We go to one of his friends does it, and they got like a club. It's just this sort of warehouse down the road, and it's some guy that owns it, and he's really into it, and he just opens it up, and it's got tons of gaming tables and all the buildings and everything. And I flicked through some of the rule books, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. But he's just started secondary school this week, and they've got a lunchtime D&D club, so he's just been creating his character for that. So that's really cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because a lot of what I've noticed, a lot of kind of comic shops have done over here, and a lot more other types of shops have opened up that are very similar. That they have loads of gaming tables, and people go in and they play Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon cards. They play Dungeons and Dragons, they play 40k, they play Age of Scimitar, all of that kind of stuff. And they literally just hire out a few tables, have a coffee machine. The one in Crawley's got a bar, so you can buy a pint while you play. And they just hire out the tables.
Yeah.
Because one's opened up at around my mum and dad's way, down in Goring. And it's absolutely fucking fantastic. And it's great because they also sell loads of Vallejo paints. So every time I go down and visit them, I'm like, brilliant, I don't have to order anything online. I can walk straight in and I can actually look at the paint and go, okay, I want that.
Yeah.
So these types of shops opening up, fucking loving it. Absolutely fucking loving it. So I've been getting well into that kind of stuff. But all the respect in the world to anyone who paints Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, because they are so much smaller than 40k miniatures. It was only when I printed some of the Hero Forge off for you and Zach and stuff, I was like,
you're like, whoa,
fuck, these are like half the size.
They are. I've had to get some tiny brushes. I think they're like 0.05 or something ridiculous, like one hair. But
it's insane, absolutely insane. I'd have to double the size to even have half a chance.
So I've got those to come. I'm looking forward to once my hands sort of fixed up. Then I'm going to paint those up. So I'm looking forward to that. So.
They're very cool, very very cool. So let's have a look at
new releases.
Okay, so
I just have to first of all address this comment.
Yes.
Being a Malaysia man. Yeah. So I paint with anything. I've got cheap craft paints as well. Like, if it's paint, I'll grab it and I'll try it. But yeah, walking in and seeing a whole shop full of Vallejo paints was an instant boner. If I'm honest, it was good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
anyway. They're up there, and also was it Citadel paints?
Citadel, they're okay, but they're a lot of money for what they are. Citadel and Reaper miniature paints are probably my two favourite.
Oh, yeah,
Reaper
yeah.
just pips Citadel, but you can get that way more in the US than you can over here. But there's shops that just bulk order it in. But yeah, that's my opinion on paint.
So just touched on this on my new releases. So it's the SW Toys times Tough Guys Lord of the Caspian Sea, which is Captain Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean, The Black Pearl, Curse of the Black Pearl, Geoffrey Rush. So on the left, that's from Big Brader's, Joao Brader's review on YouTube. And I think that's pretty much stock. He's just got that straight out of the box. And it looks okay. Like the bits and pieces look good, but he looks a little bit awkward. And then obviously, people are starting to customize, and that's really what I want to do with mine. So the middle one is literally, I think, just the haircut, just the hair trimmed a little bit, which because it's got that horrible sort of doll hair, and it's just wild. I think when you get it out the box, so it needs a bit of trimming. But I'm probably going to replace it all with Tibetan lamb's wool with the beard as well. And we were saying before that I think the sculpt's okay, and I think the paint's a bit flat. And you said probably the eyes stand out as looking a little bit flat.
Do you know what I think it is? Looking at it again, the eyes are too white.
Yes, yeah, they're very.
They need a wash of like a little bit of a creamy yellowy colour in there, just to take that, because they've gone in pure white.
Yeah,
I think once that's taken out and a little bit of red in there, they blend in a bit better.
Yeah,
because the skin tone's really good on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what there's a big difference. Like, I think that's what makes you go, "Oh, those eyes look way too white."
Yeah, and I think the things like the hat, they thought it wasn't good, but I think with a little bit of, if you warm it up and sculpt it a bit and everything, it's pretty good. And on the right, I don't even know if it's got a body swap, but it's basically just been a little bit, just futzed a bit, I think dirtied up a little bit, and it looks so much better already than the one on the left. So I'm quite happy with it, actually. I think it's going to look really good next to Jack Sparrow, who's been on his own for so long.
Because out of the Pirates of the Caribbean line, they did Jack. Have they done Bill Turner?
They've done about They've done about 3 or 4 Jacks, haven't they? They did Will Turner. They did Elizabeth Swann.
And did they do the? I swear I've seen. Is it from the third one, the Chinese pirate?
They did the Chinese pirate, and they also did the Penelope Cruz character. I can't remember what the is it?
Yes,
Angelica. Angelica. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and obviously Davy Jones. They did. But they never did Barbossa, which is an odd one.
I think it's a licensing thing. I think it's like his likeness, or
possibly. I don't know. And they never really after that third film, they didn't really do anything, because they didn't do Blackbeard, they didn't do Salazar or anything like that. So they kind of left it after that, I think. It looks good. So I'll be posting some. We can pick up on this in a couple of weeks and have a look how I'm getting on with a bit of customization. But I think it'll turn out pretty well, actually.
I think it looks good. I think it's one of those figures for 150 quid.
Yeah,
it's a decent base. It's a decent base, and there is no real alternative. So
no, and it's like it's got a real metal sword. Apparently, the gun is metal and wood. It's got a real wood handle on it, and they're saying they're really well done. So it's got some nice touches in there. So that's my next project.
Very nice, very nice. So Death Troopers, I don't like this.
No.
This is the Death Trooper Black Chrome version for £250. It's a lot. That's a lot of money for what it is.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, I've said before, I'm not a big fan of Black Chrome.
No.
It just never quite works for me. It just looks like shiny black. And then you pointed out before we came on about the goldy tinge to it.
Yeah. It
which
almost looks
until
like a
you
Cylon.
pointed it out, I never noticed.
Yeah, it's looking a bit Cylon-y to me.
Yeah.
You know, like a gold, like a silvery gold, and yeah.
Because I like the Death Trooper design. The design's good. I just don't like the black chrome.
No, I've also, I don't really see the point of these chromed versions, because I like to have stuff on my shelf that's been on screen.
Yeah.
But and I think a lot of people have been disappointed with how it's turned out. I think mostly from watching Justin's review, because that's where they're still on the rights from. And I understand. I think Marco from CW, he contacted Sideshow, so he didn't want it anymore, and they gave him his NRD back and everything, because I think they agreed that it wasn't, didn't look like the proto. I think a lot of people are cancelling that one.
It's a bit of a bait and switch, really, isn't it? But if you have one of the original versions, just buy yourself some high gloss spray paint and spray that fucker up, because that's exactly what Hot Toys do. So you can still have
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
but,
no, not
yeah,
for
it's just
that one. But
no. This next one, though, however, quite like. This is the 3-0 First Blood John Rambo, £210, and absolutely destroys the official Stallone shot one.
Yeah, definitely. I really like it. I think the only difference is you don't get, you're not getting the green military jacket and the duffel bag. Well, they're easy to. I think that'd be fairly easy to get hold of a jacket, and duffel bag is not really that exciting. He's got well, it's a tarp, isn't it? In the film, it's like a tarpaulin, whereas this looks a little bit more like a material, like an animal skin, but
like cloth or something that they've just cut up.
Yeah, whereas I think in the film it's more like a plasticky tarp thing. But I wouldn't display him with that. But I think the one on the right, and that's probably had a little. I don't know if it's had any customization or whether it's just, but that looks really good with the M60. I'd be quite tempted if I saw one, for kind of like 180, 170, 180, sort of on the used market. I'd be quite tempted to pick it up. I like it. The only thing that always puts me off slightly with 3-0 when they do the seamless stuff is that it's just a normal body underneath those arms with this silicone like wrap put around it. I think it works for Stallone because it gives him those bigger proportions. Yeah. But I don't know how round the wrists there, how it wears up over time. Yeah. Because I think it's one of those things where people always imagine that he was a lot bigger than he was. And if you look at him in First Blood particularly, he's quite skinny. He's just really, really ripped, really toned. Yeah. So this body's probably a little bit too big for him, but I think it works okay. So I really like it. I think it's
what doesn't help. Quite a few films of the time did it. Was the posters, the movie posters.
Yeah.
So the movie posters, they were always ripped as fuck. Because if you look at the movie poster for Army of Darkness, Bruce Campbell is absolutely a fucking beast. He's not like that in real life. He was relatively skinny.
And it's funny because you mentioned that because the Temple of Doom one, I'll come on to later with my custom. I'm replicating that poster, but it's too big a body. And a lot of people said, "Oh, the body's too big," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is." But I'm going for the poster. And
Yeah, exactly. Because at the time they were just, that was the point. They made the posters so they were, bigger than life and huge.
Bigger than life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think sometimes you get the poster in your head.
Yeah.
And you forget actually.
Again, and even with Arnie and stuff, some of his earlier stuff, he wasn't. Well, in the movies, he was never as big as he was when he was bodybuilding full time. No. He was huge then, and he, he came down quite a bit, even though he was massive. So yeah, no, I think the head sculpt on this is, I mean, absolutely pisses all over the Stallone Studios one.
Yeah,
Which was
100%.
like a real, like, it was too big, wasn't it? It was like a caricature almost, like one of those weird pictures you get done of yourself on the French streets.
I think the thing is with the Stallone shot one is if the price was more in line with this,
yeah,
I'd be a lot more forgiving. And when
way more.
and again, it's one of those things like you see renders and stuff that people worked on it put out, and they look really good. It just didn't translate. It's kind of that Star Race curse, where renders look great and then they just destroy it somehow. So it's just
when we come on to the next one, I think they've improved the head sculpt, because I think it's Inigo who's done the next Stallone one. It does look a lot better.
that looked very good. Moving on then, let's have a look at the War Toys WS013 Immortal Hero, or Spawn to everyone else. So people are starting to be invoiced. Yeah, don't tell Todd, you get the So people are starting to be invoiced for this. So 280 quid. Now the interesting thing about this is that this was one of the ones that got put up for pre-order and was almost instantly taken down because people. I thought the idea at the time was Todd McFarlane had copped it and sent a load of shit out, but it looks like it's been invoiced. So I'm not a huge Spawn fan. I quite liked the film when I was a kid, so it looks very, very cool. But I don't have 280 quid to spend on something that looks very, very cool. But
it's quite a big,
I quite like
quite
it.
a big figure, isn't it? It's quite a beast, I think.
It's a fucking unit and a half. I mean, look how fucking thick that forearm is. That's that's someone who found masturbation early. That's fucking huge. So that's 280. I like it.
Yeah.
If I had the money, I'd probably pick it up.
Yeah, be interesting to see what the in-hand pictures are like, as to whether it's turned out, as good as it should have done.
And then that's the thing. The in-hand one. That's what. A couple of reviews, and I'll be interested to see. Thank you very much, Lane, for the
Squid Bros.
Squid Bros. Yeah, he said that to me the other day. He said, "Yeah, you should change your names from OFAC to Squid Bros." So thank you very, very much, Lane.
Yeah.
We will consider it for the $2 and get back to you. So next up we have these are lovely. I like these. These are the present toys. The Heat, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. So that's Vincent Hanna and Neil McCauley. 170 quid each. I think the Al Pacino's better.
Yeah, the Al Pacino is stronger, definitely. But I think they're really good. Yeah, and I wasn't sure. Kit said they were up for pre-order, but they're out on the 20th. So these are obviously in-hand pictures that someone has got. So it's imminent, and they've still got a few left for sale on 1/6 kit. But yeah, I really like them. I think the Al Pacino is very good, but the suits look really good, and I can't help but be really impressed with a lot of the present toys stuff, to the point where I ordered their Clint Eastwood, didn't I? The Blondie.
It's a funny one because up until kind of the indie, they were very hit and miss. They seem to have released the indie, and that was an absolute banger. And since then, I've not seen a lot that they've bought out that I've gone, well, that's shit.
No.
It's all been very, very good. And quite reasonably priced.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. Well, in this day and age where you can't get anything from Hot Toys for less than $220, something like that, 170, although that would sound like a lot in the past, it's quite a good saving, and when they're decent figures, I think they're snapping at the heels of So Toys. To be honest, they're getting up there with as one of the better third party companies.
Yeah, they're looking really good. Yeah, we like them. So that was the very, very short new releases, because there hasn't been a great deal of new stuff out, but there has been a plethora of upcoming. So let's have a look.
Coming soon.
Selfie. Oh, hang on, we got a comment here. Some present toys pre-orders have been on pre-order a long time. I really like their stuff, especially indie, but worry if everything they announce will actually get made. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I would agree.
I think it's
do
less of a problem
cane the
because I think
pre-orders.
if you ever look, Andy, if you go back, I don't know, it's 3 or 4 or 5 shows ago, I made a list of them all. We went through them all, and at that time, I think Indy was missing. Constantine. There were ones that had been on pre-order a long time, and there's been but I think they've caught up pretty much. To be honest, I think they're back on track. I don't think there's anything that's been on pre-order for a particularly long time that hasn't come out. So I think they were guilty of that to start with, but I think they have caught up. I'm not sure. I haven't updated my list. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think they're probably quite on track now. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think you're safe in pre-ordering anything from them, to be honest. So we'll wait and see. But yeah.
So we have the Hot Toys Obi-Wan Kenobi Reva, the third sister. 240 quid out Q4 2023 to Q1 2024. I really like this. I think it looks really good. I think they've nailed the head sculpt. I've seen loads of people complaining about it, but they just need to go suck a dick. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing.
No. I think if anything, the only argument is that people say she looks a little bit older here, only because she's a bit thinner in the face. If you look at her, the actress, she's a little bit, but I couldn't fault it for that. I think it looks great.
No. That's the thing. I don't look at this and exactly. I don't go, who's that? It's
and obviously no big surprise because we'd seen her in the background of the Vader and the Grand Inquisitor photos. But it looks really good. Pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people saying that she's not their favourite character and stuff like that, which I get. But obviously she's she will be coming back, I assume. So there's more for her to kind of give us. But yeah, it looks like the outfit and stuff, and you get the cloak and all the lightsabers and stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't think I think for most of us over here in Dear Red Blighty, we don't have to really worry about pleather flaking. So I don't think we really have to be that concerned about most of it.
No.
It does make you laugh though when, like I said before, when there's that few accessories, we're filling the accessory panels up with a belt and some boots.
It's got a bit out of hand. Like, you've got to have like all these panels, and then you run out of things, and they don't have to have all that, but it's sort of become, I don't know. It's almost like it's almost like a joke, a parody of itself now. I think when you see some of the other companies doing it, but and
it's almost compulsory now for any Hot Toy Star Wars to come out with a couple of holograms.
Yeah,
they all come with them now.
Oh, definitely. And they're obviously hoping they become like sort of collectible items in their own right, I suppose. But with the pleather thing, I don't think anything that I've bought new I've had any problems with at all. The only things I've seen pleather failure on is the DX05 Indy, and I've bought loads of those. I've bought 20 of those over the years, right? And probably 2 of them. And obviously, the more years you go on, I mean that figure's like 11 years old now, and if they've been a lot of them have come from, obviously they originated in Hong Kong anyway. But if they'd been in Asia for a number of years, then that doesn't help. Their climate, it's very humid climate. And the other one was the original Hellboy, and again a really old figure. The trousers went on that, and some of the belts and everything. But other than that, like you were talking about like the Vaders. Well, I've got a New Hope Vader, and that was 8 years ago. Absolutely perfect. So I think too much is made of it. I think, and obviously if you overwork it, if you play with them like a toy and you're bending those joints and you're handling it all the time, it will degrade. But most of us don't do that. We, put them on display and we leave them alone.
The only stuff I've ever had really go is some of the really early Sideshow stuff. But when we say like those other toys are like 13 years old, some of these are coming up to sort of like 20 odd years. Like
the Anakin leather thing was notorious, wasn't it? That was a bad one.
Yeah, that used to go. And Aragon, the Strider version, his coat, just the patch on his elbow used to go, which was really weird. Really, really weird.
Yeah, and some of the Terminator ones as well. The jackets went, didn't they? But not widespread. But
most of that's mainly people in the States and Asia and places like that. It's
it is.
Lane says,
we've got a very...
either of you had the Predator hot toy. Which one? I've had a few.
Well,
I've got him down there, the jungle guy. So yes, I have. Yes, the classic one, which was
from Predators.
Which was my bargain because some guy posted on the groups he wanted to trade. He wanted to trade a classic Predator for a Xbox 360, and I was like, I was like, I don't have.
Is yours the original one?
No, so I thought it was the original one.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah.
And then when it turned up, it was the one from Predators.
And
he'd had the custom kit done with
that's
the bone,
right. The
bone really necklace and everything. And the only problem was it had a busted foot peg, where he'd repaired it really, really well. But I think I bought a new pair of feet off of Craig and nicked the peg from that, and just swapped them back around. So I did really, really well. That was probably one of those, like, it doesn't happen very often, because I was like, I don't have a 360, but what's your price? And he was like, well, a new 360 is going to cost me like 130, 140. I was like, I'll give you 140. I'll give you 140 now.
I'm definitely
done. And then
because they were going for like 300 at one point. They were ridiculous.
At one point, I was tempted to sell it, and I think they were going for about 250. And it's got a couple of it, like the stand, the bit that clips in doesn't clip in. Like, I need a new peg, I need a new pole for it, but the pole is a weird, awkward size. So I need to track one of them down. But I was like, I can't be bothered. And now Prey's come out. They're fucking like gold dust. You can't get one.
Oh, it's a great figure. That's the only one I've got at the moment, the classic. And I bought mine loose, and that was like 120 quid or something ridiculous. And all it hasn't got is a stand, and I wouldn't have room for that anyway. I have owned the Elder Predator, the 2.01. So the guy.
I love that one.
That is a great figure.
Yeah.
And the only reason I sold it is because I ran out of space. Somebody was after one, gave me a good price, but that's probably the best one in my opinion. It's a really good one. And I did have the City Hunter for a while, but I just didn't like it. I don't know what it was. Just didn't gel with me, because they're all very much the same, like the bodies and everything, but it just felt a bit more like a plastic toy. And I don't know what it was about it.
How many City Hunters have they done? Is it just the one?
Just one.
There's not like a 2.0. Because I find if you buy the older Predators, so a City Hunter, the original Jungle Predator, the bodies on them are really weirdly proportioned. It's like someone's got a standard narrow shoulder body and painted it. So you have that weird, like the elbows are weird because they're double jointed and they don't quite blend in that well. Because I had the original the original Predator from Predators. From Predator, and that was exactly the same. So it made the head look massive and shit like that.
Yeah,
this one's way better.
You had to build those back when Hot Toys came disassembled. You
didn't with the one from Predator. That came already done. Okay. But then I think Predator 2, the original Wolf Predator, and a few of the others. The original Elder Predator as well was like that, where you had to click it all together. And
that's right. Yeah.
It's really weird, really, really weird.
Because the only experience I've got of those are the aliens figures I've got. They all came like with their arms and their legs off and stuff like that. Really early Hot Toys stuff. But so I must have had. If there was an original City Predator, it wasn't the first one. It was on the current bodies. Came with a lot of stuff. They come with a lot of accessories and bits and pieces. They're really good. They've got real good presence on the shelf as well. Yeah,
they do stand out. They are really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was Predators and Reva. We've also got the Valkyrie, which is another one everyone's slagging off. So Hot Toys Love and Thunder Valkyrie, £240 at Q4 2023 to Q1 2024. So about the same time as the one above. Again, I think because I don't have any interest in Marvel anymore, I don't find this offensive.
No.
The head sculpt is about 80-90% there, which is good enough for me.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people complain.
The film dropped on Disney Plus today, so if you haven't seen
did it?
Yep, it did.
Well, that's movie night tomorrow night sorted out.
There you go, Disney Day. So this dropped, Pinocchio dropped, the new live action Pinocchio. With
is that on Disney Plus as well?
Correct. Yep.
Oh,
so
fuck me,
good.
Yeah. It's a good day.
There's a drama about Mike Tyson that I've started watching, which is quite good. Mike, that's called. So
it's all about his struggle with a lisp.
Yes,
and all through childhood.
It's got Chris Eubank in it as well.
Chris Eubank.
Chris Eubank. When I was a pugilist, I think the Valkyrie looks alright, to be honest. And in case you haven't seen the movie, that weird shot on the top left in the boxes is Korg's head, which ties to the back. Obviously, at some point, he just gets separated from his body, and she ties it into her hair. But obviously, amusingly, it looks like he's got a moustache. So it's quite funny. But I think it looks alright, to be honest. And we knew this was coming. The moment that third-party company announced it a couple of months ago, we knew this was coming. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what you make of the film, because it has been really, really panned, and particularly like very vocally by Eddie, who had defriended me when I told him that I quite enjoyed it. But I quite like the comedy. I see them as a comedy film, these Thor ones, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good laugh. Like Russell Crowe is amazing in it.
It's on the I'll watch it tomorrow night. Figure looks fun.
I think it would look good with Thor and Lady Thor. Be a good little display that if you still doing your Marvel thing. But yeah,
definitely. So this is the one everyone's on about at the moment. The Hot Toys Mark V with a racetrack diorama, £430 plus postage. Now I'm so fucking confused by this. Did we not just do this the other day? So what the fuck is the difference? The racetrack diorama? What did the other one come with that this one doesn't? Because this is isn't this the fifth or sixth Mark V?
That was the Mark III that we did the other show. But
we've definitely done a Mark V recently.
Oh yeah, no. They redid it in diecast. Then they re-released it as well, and now they re-released it.
So the re-release, I don't feel like we were talking about that long ago.
No, it wasn't that long ago. This time they've put him with a tiny weeny little remote controlled car, because look at the size of that wheel compared to like his foot.
That's weird.
That is proper shit.
Are they just going through redoing all the Iron Man and giving them diorama bases?
Yeah. It looks like doesn't it? Will we never be free of this stuff?
No. I mean, it looks good, but I don't know how much more you can flog a dead horse.
I thought it looked alright until somebody pointed out the scale of it, and I was like, oh yeah, that car's like a third scale, half scale of what it should be.
The thing is that if you're going to use like forced perspective, it works, but it doesn't work is the fact that you've actually got the Jersey barrier behind him that's almost in proper scale.
Yeah.
If anything, a bit too big.
Yeah.
Then you've got the car that's the small part. Yeah, it just doesn't work. No. As a Dio, it does not work.
It doesn't work, no.
They were better off just not putting the car on there, just putting a couple of full-size tyres.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. For £430, like, I just... No.
It's as Mr. Musashi says, it's very random, and it's just really not Hot Toys' best work, to be honest.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, even that picture on the left of him, like spread eagle over the diorama base, just looks painful. Because if you look at his his arse is just all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, he's stretched out too far, isn't he?
Yeah,
That's
from nipples up, it looks fantastic. From the waist down, it ain't so good.
No.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, not a fan of that one.
No.
So,
But this
Locutus though. Oh yes. Loving this. Locutus aboard by XO6. They've put this little tease up and a little trailer. So there's no price or release dates yet.
Yeah,
loving it.
Little video. I think on Facebook. But yeah, I think it's gonna, because I think like today was officially Star Trek Day. I don't know what the significance of the date is, but there was a lot of chat on the XO6 groups about what was coming, and everyone thought it was going to be the motion picture trio that we looked at a few shows ago. Like bearded McCoy and all that. But yeah, that wasn't. It was Locutus, and I think it'll probably be up for pre-order pretty soon. And probably around. I think Archer was about 210. So he might be a little bit more, and I'm not sure if he comes with like a diorama backdrop, with one of the Borg, like I don't know what they call them, but the little hub things they go into.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I can't for the life of me remember what they're called.
No,
but
I've seen them. I don't know whether he's coming with one, but I think it looks fantastic.
It does look good.
It looks
Does
really
look
good.
Alcove. That's it. Thank you to Catherine.
Alcove. Yeah. And obviously we've got a tease of next gen data in the background, which has also got people very excited.
Yes, it's got that would. Thing is, if I'm going to do next generation, I don't want to start with Locutus. I want to start with the bridge crew, as the bridge crew.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. This will be, if these go the way I want them to go, there'll be a big chunk of my collection just being sold to get these.
Yeah.
Most of my Batman stuff, I think, would end up having to go just to get these guys. But
and I think the Picard sculpt looks really good. Obviously, you could get away with a little less because you've got half of the face obscured, but there's still quite a lot of it that you can see, and I think it's really good. And all the wires and bits and pieces on it. It's a really nice looking figure. Hopefully, they don't come broke. They don't come broken, because I know some people have had a few issues with a few broken bits and pieces in their Exo6 figures. So you'd have to kind of keep your fingers crossed that it didn't have a bumpy ride. Because obviously there's a lot of wires and bits and pieces, and if you're not into kind of fixing your own figures, which I know a lot of people don't really like the idea of, then obviously, but I think it's good. And as you say, they need to start pushing some of the next gen crew now, because we've seen a lot of them. There's a lot of frustration building up, because we've had Voyager, we've got Enterprise, we've got Discovery, and yet we haven't had anything from the next gen TV show yet. Locutus is the first one, which is, as you say, is a bit odd. Nothing for the original crew yet. And I think I'm going to have to be tough on myself and not order the motion picture trio as much as I'd like to have them. I'm going to hold out for the Rathacon red uniforms. I just want those three, and that'll be
I think if I was going original crew, then I'd be the same as you, Rathacon, and have Khan as well. If you've got those three, you kind of need Khan.
Yeah, exactly. They have teased him, they have shown him, so that's what I'm waiting for. But I do love the look of the next gen stuff. I think it's going to be a really nice lineup, and you can get all of the crew. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Stallone shop. This one actually looks like Stallone.
It does.
They've shown off their Cobra Corbetti £251 out in the summer of 2023. My only complaint, really, so £251, you have to put that up in total, all of it. There's no deposit option. It's just that's it. That's your lot. I like it. I think it looks pretty good. I think this looks a lot better than the last one they did, the Rambo.
Yeah.
That picture on the right looks better than the picture in the middle, but
yeah,
I quite like it.
Yeah, I think this one's Inigo sculpted this, and obviously we're big fans of Inigo. I don't know who did the. I'm assuming that he didn't do the First Blood one, but I don't know who it was if it wasn't him. But this one looks a lot more realistic, and I think the hair is a lot better because that was really like not good on the First Blood one. So I think it looks good. I know that Zach was raving about the base with that cobra head, but it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? I think he was being sarcastic. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one.
It looks like an ashtray you buy on holiday.
Yeah.
Like in a cheap, in the looky man going, buy my ashtray. Like, no, just don't.
It's just it's an odd one. I think it looks okay. I'm not a massive. I don't really know the film that well. I remember watching it when it first came out, probably. Not so for me. Not really a memorable kind of, like instantly think of like him as one of the Stallone's most recognisable characters. It looks okay. Looks well done. You get nice few weapons and bits and pieces. And I know Steve will be.
I'd be all over this one, wouldn't he? Yeah.
And hopefully the sculpt will turn out like the one on the right. But again, this is the master paint version, and we're used to, a certain kind of margin of drop off from the companies that we know. Whereas it looked like there was a massive drop off on the First Blood.
Because that's the thing. If you look at the First Blood figure, what they showed you when they were putting it up for your pre-order, and the pictures that came out later down the line. Now, albeit there were some very, very positive reviews, which were a little bit suspicious.
10 out of 10, I heard.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Absolute shrink rate.
Perfection.
That's it. Yeah. Bollocks. We've all got eyes. We can all see. So it'd be interesting to see what the drop-off is on this one, and if they set a bit of a precedent for terrible drop-off. But, we will just have to wait and see on that one. So, next up, we have something truly awful. This is the Jack Draw JD 01316 scale Torture. Torture X, even £160 at Q2 2023. What's wrong with his shoulders?
I don't know. It's hideous.
Those are some serious traps.
So, for those of you listening in, this is Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. In a hideous outfit. Yeah, well, I think so. A hideous looking outfit. I don't remember him wearing that. I don't remember him torturing anybody, so I'm not quite sure whether they called him the Torturer. It is, I think. But I'm only getting that from the face and the fact it's got those kind of tattoos on it, and there's a picture of his back on the base.
He's also boss-eyed.
Really not good, this one.
No, it really isn't.
Like Jackdaw. I mean, we're used to these new companies springing up every week, but the Jackdaw,
and I don't get why they have to put the height on there in millimeters, which is a weird touch. 335 mil.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's taller than your average figure.
He's 3.5 centimeters taller than a standard ruler.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, fuck me. Like, and how much did I say it was? 160 quid for this. £160. Fuck off. Like, you're having a laugh.
Yeah.
That's £100, £110 all day long.
Yeah.
All day long. I could give it for that, but not 160.
That's why they put the height on, because they're like, well, he's a bigger figure, he's a bigger body, so we can add that extra 50 quid on. Yeah, I think that's why that's on there, but not good. Really not good.
And I think Lane has the best comment there.
Yeah.
Dave Ugtista, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, that's fucking hideous. This next one though, by Super Dark, I like. This is good. So this is a clothing set by Super Dark. This is the 1/6 Girl Fashion Evil Girl accessory set. It's all set you back £80 and is due out Q2 2023. If I had any interest in Cruella de Vil, I would buy this instantly. It looks shrink ray. It looks really really
this is,
good.
Emma Stone from the live action 101 Dalmatians, the newer version. It looks really good. It does. It's a really good, likeness of her. So does it come with everything other than the body then? When they say it's an accessory kit,
And the good thing about this is because most Feisson bodies come out stupidly pale anyway.
It works.
It works. You won't have any bother.
Although I think they've messed up here because the tits just aren't anywhere near big enough.
What, for a fight? Yeah, I'll tell you, those Feisson groups are going to have a fucking field day with this one.
It's just funny. They'll be slathering over this for days. Like which body, which suntan, pale. Yeah. I've read it ad infinitum for the slave Leia, and it just gets boring. The problem is the pictures you see of the Feisson bodies. When you get them in hand, it doesn't anything like them colour-wise. No. It's a real lottery.
It's really difficult to match it up.
Obviously the only good thing you've got here is there's only a very little bit of the body on show. So you could probably get away with a non, as long as you had a sculpted neck.
You get away with a standard body.
Yeah.
But I think this looks really good. And
I'm not sure who's going to buy it, but it's it's a good effort, for what it is.
I think the same type of people who buy little mice things and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
little Stuart Little fan club. They go for this. This seems like the type of randomness that would be in one of those collections where you have a Stuart Little and a Picasso and then a Cruella de Vil. Like all lined up. Yeah,
because it's funny because I saw. I didn't put it in here because we don't really do cos babies on here. But Hot Toys have shown the cos baby Pinocchio from the live action film that's gone live.
Yeah, and Jiminy Cricket. I saw that today.
It'd be interesting to see whether they do like a proper, like they did with the Winnie the Pooh. If they do actually do a like a screen accurate Pinocchio. Be interested to see. Not that it's something that I'd be interested in buying, but it'd be interested to see if they do that. I don't know how well. I think the Pooh stuff, it was like everyone was just like weren't interested, but I think it developed a little bit of a cult interest. On the aftermarket. It
looked really good. It looked exactly as Winnie the Pooh looked on the screen. Yeah. But it was just a weird one for a company that normally makes 6-scale figures of action stars and stuff to make. That was all. Yeah. Although the new Winnie the Pooh film, I'd quite like to watch that. The horror Winnie the Pooh film that's coming out.
Is there?
So Winnie the Pooh has now become like public property. Right. Because it's been around for X amount of years, and there is so Google it, the Winnie the Pooh horror film. Yeah. It looks so they can't take the exact character and just copy it, but they can use Winnie the Pooh and stuff like that. So it is it's two guys, one dressed up like Winnie the Pooh with this horrendous Winnie the Pooh mask, and another guy dressed up with a piglet mask, pretty much killing Christopher Robin and his friends. So Blood and Honey, that's it, Blood and Honey. Wow. Yeah, watch the trailer. It looks pretty good. I'd be interested in seeing it. Yeah, does look good. But anyway, the last one, Infinite Studios collectibles, Twin Peaks, Agent Dale Cooper. So we have no price on this yet.
No.
I'm not a
That's
massive Twin Peaks fan, if I'm
No?
honest. I watched it once and
No.
didn't understand what the fuck was happening.
Yeah. I like it. I've rewatched it again in recent years. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it's got a very unique atmosphere to it. And
It's a crackhead's fever dream.
yeah,
It's absolutely mental.
yeah.
And it being caustic plastic, it's probably going to cost you a fair bit as well.
Well, this is a thing, yeah, because I should have put it in the show, actually, but they just released the Bela Lugosi Dracula figure, and it does look really good. But the price on that was getting pretty. If you went for like the full deluxe job, they're not cheap. And I guess this guy, I guess he'll come with quite a few like accessories and stuff that are specific to certain episodes and things like that. But as you said, it's just a guy in a suit. At the end of the day, you're not getting anything.
There's no real reason why, if anyone really wanted this figure, they couldn't go out and have it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just the head sculpt, isn't it? Really,
the head sculpt is stuff. But even then, it's not that hard to get that
and he's
anymore.
He's got his cup of coffee. He's going to come with a slice of cherry pie. He's going to have his little tape recorder thing. There's probably going to be a log. You can see it's going to come with loads of really cool stuff. I'm not sure if it's going to come with Laura Palmer. I'm sure I've seen pictures of the Laura Palmer in the plastic as well. So maybe that'd be like the deluxe version when you get that with the. And the Dracula does look really good.
It does.
But it was just really expensive. So I'm sticking with the NECA to satisfy my Universal Monsters.
I mean, their Conan was really good as well.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was really good.
Yeah.
So that they got a track record of actually delivering. And did they do a Gladiator? Was it caustic plastic?
They did. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not sure whether Infinite and the caustic plastic what that relationship is. But yeah, caustic plastic certainly did some really good like Conan and Gladiator kits and things like that. And obviously the Infinite is kind of this statue collectible thing. But I'll be interested to see what he comes with. But again, it's difficult to know who you'd kind of display him with if that's all they're going to do from it. And so it's a very niche release. But
yeah. Cool. So, look, that was all the stuff that was upcoming that we thought you lovely people would be interested in. So, it's time for me and Pete to show off a little bit with the stuff we've been working on in
Custom Corner.
Seamless transition.
Yeah, it was. We got there after
seamless.
76 episodes.
76 episodes, and we are. See, now we fuck up the last 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Spoke far too soon.
Mine's a quick one. It's not really anything new. I just did a bit more work on my Temple of Doom indie. It's a figure that I've had on and off. He's gone through many. He's like Trigger's broom. Really, there's not a lot original left on him. And at one point in the past, I put him on a Physon M33 body there, which again, like we were talking about earlier, it's too big for it. Harrison Ford's never been that. That beefy, that
ripped.
Big. But there's one of the famous posters for Temple of Doom, and he's not quite as ripped as this, but he's got that slightly more, like you were saying, that they've kind of drawn him a little bit. It's a painting, and he looks a little bit more kind of beefy and sort of butch than Harrison actually was. So that's what I've captured here, and a lot of people say, he's too big a body and stuff. Should have gone with an M31, but I think an M31's quite short because it's more like the Bruce Lee kind of body. So I don't think that would have worked. So I'm happy with it.
M31 is what I have on my. I've got that on my Mandos, my Batman, and my Ash. So it's quite tall and it's relatively tall. It's fairly kind of lean, but it's super sculpted. Because it's kind of like what I've done with Ash. Like it's more from the film poster than it is from him in the Evil Dead, because at that point they made everything super buff. But I like this. I like the sleeve, because in the poster that's super tight. So
yeah,
I
exactly.
like
Yeah, and obviously that's just because it's on a vice and it's a big. But yeah, there's a lot of. So basically, I swapped the shirt out because it had an old Sideshow one and I didn't really like it. That one actually is the one from the. What was it? The Medicon one I picked up a while back,
okay.
and it just worked because it was slightly too small. But for the really to really get that really tight on that arm and everything, and obviously because it's mostly open, you can get away with it. So yeah, the shirt was swapped. I redid all the blood and stuff and the sweat and everything on him. Swapped out the shoes. I picked up another pair of DXO5 boots, so I swapped them out. Just and a bit more. I recoloured the trousers because they were. He had DXO5 trousers on, and they're really quite light in colour, and they were almost the same colour as the shirt, and it looked a bit weird. So I just dyed them in some in acrylics. So yeah, I really like him. I think it's not everyone's cup of tea, and I think most of the Temple of Dooms you see are the Sideshow one, which I'm not a fan of. I think there's a lot wrong on that figure. Some of it's okay. The shirt and the trousers are actually okay, but beyond that. Not a massive fan, but it's good to see. And that Indiana Jones group on Facebook's really active. It's got a lot of members now, and there's a lot of people, like a lot of customs that I've not seen. People that weren't necessarily on the forum boards online. So it's seen a lot of good indie stuff on there. But that was me. And what you been up to, mate?
So I've been super busy with like work and life and stuff, so I've not had a great deal of time to sit and paint anything.
Yeah.
But Raina sent me over this elf head to paint because he's doing some Star Warsy type stuff with it. So I painted that up at the weekend, and that was interesting because I've never really done an elf before, and there's quite a lot of hair on it.
Yes.
That kind of curves kind of round and does a bit of a Gabrielle, so you kind of have to try and paint in that other eye was a bit of a bastard because of you can't quite get on it head on, which was a bit weird. And then my Boba Fett head sculpt finally arrived, the blank knockoff one. So really I painted that up. So that painted up really well because there's really nothing to it. It's all skin tone.
A recast of the Hot Toys one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a recast of the Hot Toys one.
Yeah.
So all I did, because the idea of that is it's on that black suit bobber I've got over there. And the idea was I didn't want it to be exactly like Hot Toys have painted theirs, because theirs is very, like, the scars are very pronounced and that. And the idea was I wanted him to be still scarred up, still not have any hair, but kind of like they'd faded a bit. So he decided not to go in the back to tank. And this is, he just part with being fucked up from the Scarlet pit. So, it was a lot of washes and a lot of blending and stuff like that. But I really like it. I think it came out really well.
It does look really good. The likeness is really good there.
And I don't encourage recasting, but some of the knockoff Hot Toys sculpts that you can get for like £12. Because I think this one was 17. Most of them were anywhere between 12 and 17 quid. If you just want something to paint for fun, to practice, they're well worth picking up. Just because they're so inexpensive. It doesn't matter if you fuck them up.
Like this, that's good enough quality to actually go on your figure.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like most of the recent ones are pretty good. None of them I've got all that's fucking awful. They've all been very, very good. So I'd never go fucking rip off loads of other people, but the Hot Toys ones that are on eBay are very, very good for not that much money at all. And they do them painted as well, but for me it's about wanting to paint it. So he's now on. He's now on the black suit bobber, and then I had to print some new knee pads and stuff So I've now got the black suit bobber, my Empire bobber, and then the alternative armour stuff on another bobber. I just needed to print out another set of knee pads, which I've done, and that's all on him. So the idea was I was going to display all three together. I was going to take a couple of cool photos, but I just not had a chance yet.
No.
But I'd be tempted to get another one of these sculpts, sand off a lot of the scarring, and try and sculpt on a beard to get a older Captain Rex.
Okay.
I think that could potentially work.
Yeah.
Cool. But I'm just shit at sculpting, so it would look fucking horrendous. But yeah, there's plenty of mileage on it, plenty of stuff you can do with it. So yeah, that was it. And then I've got a lot of 40k stuff to paint. I'm also working on one of him, which is it going to focus? Which was interesting actually, because it's an actual FDM print. It's not resin. It's one of the plastic. You can hear it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Plastic one. So it's taken a lot of fucking about. But I've got it. Oh, not that one. Not that one. Not that one.
No.
Is it that one? Hang on. We'll get there. That one. There we go. So yeah, I've got a few bits and pieces that I'm kind of dicking about with, but if I'm honest, I could do with taking just a couple of days off work just to sit and paint all the stuff I've got. I've still got Roger Rabbit bullets to finish off for Dean. I've got lots of stuff. Just got to plough through it really. But yeah, I will get there in the end. I will get there. So, TV and film. I don't think it's very surprising what we're going to talk about. So, what do you think about it, mate? Because I know what I think.
Yeah, I love it. I think, like we said before we came on, it's taken its time. It's introducing the characters. It's very much kind of enveloping you in kind of like the world, the incredible landscapes, and like when they go into Khazad-dûm and stuff like that. It's a real spectacle. It's real epic. And obviously we know some of the characters. Obviously mainly the elven characters that we know from the later films, or the original Lord of the Rings. I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's because I know a little bit about the events that are being portrayed here. I know very much like they're doing in House of Dragon. We're going to have time jumps in this, but they're going to be much more. Like, it may well jump hundreds of years in this, because I think that the start of it, we're looking at like 3,000 years before the Hobbit kind of time period. But we're seeing Elrond and Galadriel and things like that, and obviously a very interesting arrival by comet of a very, very beloved character in the first episode. I think it's building up to something. I think you kind of get like smatterings of action, with the orcs and the snow troll. Snow Patrol, and but then it's interspersed with a lot of dialogue and building the lore. So I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait for the third episode tomorrow.
I'm sitting in the same camp as you. I'm liking how slow it is. I'm liking that you get the little punches of action in there. If they do jump about, I think it makes sense to do it with this because elves' lives are so long. Jumping a couple of 100 years to them is like, and this happens next week. It's that because time's different for them. It makes sense to tell it over a longer period. I've had to Google a couple of who these like characters they're referring to. Like, they've just come off the back of a big battle. So I had to Google, and that was the guy before Sauron. Is it Sauron?
Correct.
No, I'm not thinking.
Morgoth.
Yeah. Yep. So that was interesting. I liked all of that. Yeah, I'm liking it. And I get the impression that the like Lenny Henry's brood, all of his lot, are kind of like the first kind of hobbity type people.
Yeah, they're the half foots, aren't they? They're kind of, and some of the names like the that you can see that they're some of the names we've heard, or like the Proud Feet and Proud Foot, and so they're some of the sort of predecessors of the hobbits as we know them, and But,
so yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I'm really keen to see the next episode because just think a lot of stuff I've been watching lately is very fast paced, and I'm liking this time. They feel to me now. I've only really went to Lord of the Rings in the last sort of 2-3 years, but it feels very much like they're trying very hard to keep it in line with Lord of the Rings. They've not kind of gone off and decided to do their own thing. It's very in keeping, so I'm quite enjoying that.
And I think like to draw a comparison with the House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel, is they're very different shows. They both look spectacular, special effects and stuff. House of Dragon moves along at a quicker pace than Rings of Power, but they're both based on source material that's only very like bullet points. The House of Dragon one was kind of like I think it was like a history, so it was almost like this happened, this happened, this happened. So they've got a lot of license to flesh that out and add new stuff. And again with the Lord of the Rings, a lot of it's from the appendices. So we know that certain things have to happen and certain people did things, but around that, I think there's a certain amount of artistic license there for them to kind of shape it a little bit. So I'm quite interested in that, and I like it when certain characters turn up and you're like, oh yeah, that's the one that did, the guy that's going to make the rings and stuff like that. It's Serum Bimbo or something. He wants to build this giant furnace and stuff. And
as soon as that plan came out, I was like, I know what he's going to do.
Yeah. So it's cool that you see that, and obviously to actually see that how that's gonna pan out. I really like it. And again, there's been a lot of criticism, but what do you want from it? I think from what I've seen so far, I'm impressed. And for me, any new Lord of the, like you say with the Star Wars, if you were told, if you knew as a kid all the stuff you'd see, bring it on. They can't really, I don't think they can really ruin your enjoyment of older stuff if it doesn't turn out to be brilliant. But
everyone moans about everything nowadays. Just enjoy it. I mean, like I said, Amazon absolutely broke my heart with the Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah, they did.
Because I was so looking forward to that, and but that's because and I get so many books they have to cover, like these 15 odd books, and they're all fucking huge. So I get there's loads of ground they need to cover, and I get that there's certain things that they can't do that they could have, that really in the books are so important.
Yeah.
And we would be here for the next 20 years if they stuck to it religiously. But what I'm liking about this is because there isn't really anything for them to stick to other than, like you say, certain events that need to happen. But I'm liking the fact they're being very true to Lord of the Rings. The only criticism I've seen that I've really not agreed with, and this is a general thing because they bring House of Dragons into it and lots of new TV programs, is the snagging off of the costumes. Because people are saying that because of the productions are so quick and they need them out as soon as possible, they're cutting corners and they're making things out of like synthetic hair and like armor was a good example. And I was like, I don't get what you mean until they kind of showed a photo. Was like in Lord of the Rings, all of the armor, all of the clothing was like natural fibers and it was dyed and re-dyed and all that. So there's I think Galadriel. Her Under Armour, which are meant to be these big silver chunks, it's all just printed. It's all a printed pattern, and I never really clocked. And I was like, oh yeah, and I see what they mean. Then I thought, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
It doesn't
if it hadn't
take
been pointed
anything.
out to you, you hadn't noticed anything untoward yourself.
And once it had been pointed out, it wasn't like I went, just can't look at it anymore.
No.
I was like,
I don't give a shit. I really
no, because in the back of my head, I'm thinking we're pointing out costumes that are slightly wrong on an elf. So the believable part is that this elf is riding around slaying trolls and stuff, and the bit that people find unbelievable is this piece of Under Armour.
She's wearing a sculpted plastic piece of armour,
yeah, and that's when I was like, yeah, you know when people overthink stuff. No one takes a step back and goes, hang on a sec, hang on, this is just bollocks. What am I doing? So yeah, that got me, but I'm overall enjoying it, and it's come at a perfect time where I've kind of finished up a load of stuff. I've not really got much new that I'm watching.
The only thing I will say, and I think we're keeping this very spoiler free, so I won't mention who that character was that arrives by a comet. All I hope is they don't spend too much time with him like not knowing anything about who he is and what he's there to do. And it may well be that that's where they use the time jump to kind of go forward 200 or 300 years, because obviously we know who the character is, but he's not anything like what we know him to be.
See, I didn't up until the point you were a beloved character, and then I was like, I think I know who that might be now.
Because I saw it coming across, and I was like, I was watching it with the missus, and I'm like, I know who that is. I hope that like the whole of this series isn't him in that kind of like where am I, what am I doing kind of thing, because I think that might get a little bit tedious. But hopefully they won't, and I say because they're going to have these big time jumps, that could they could kind of merge that into that. But it's cool.
Mine says, kind of wish they spent all the money making something that wasn't tied to Lord of the Rings. It'd be easy to judge if it was an adaptation of a different fantasy series. But they did that with Wheel of Time. They've done that with other stuff, and it didn't work. And I think generally, there are programs out there that aren't tied to it. I think this is probably the perfect time to release something like this. But you're always going to get people that won't like it or will delve too deeply into it. But yeah, I generally quite like it.
I think the strength you've got here is that you've got a fantastic story. Whereas if they go off and do like their own thing, like an original piece, or they try and adapt, one of the other kind of, and there's a lot of fantasy series out there. You run the risk of actually the source material is possibly not as strong, whereas this has got so much like weight and grandiose about it, and we all know it, and we know that there's this thousands of years of backstory. I think that this, the only thing they can fuck up really is the look of it, and they seem to have I'm happy with that, and maybe just like the casting and the acting could not be perfect, but I think the story is always going to carry Lord of the Rings along, so I can see why they'd want to pick up something that's like, so ingrained in people's.
If it wasn't tied to Lord of the Rings, they wouldn't get the budget. It's simple as that. They wouldn't get the budget, and it would literally be any one of the hundreds of Netflix programs that involve that kind of sit in that kind of teeny kind of camp. So
and there's been a lot of shit.
It's catch-22. Yeah, it's catch. This could be like any of the many of the sci-fi things.
Caffeine said, "Watch the Sandman, amazing show. I have got it in my watch list."
I watched the first episode and really liked it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so
I shall be watching that when I've got some time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that pretty much brings us to a nice healthy close. So take it away, Mr. Peter. Tell us who these lovely people are.
Yes. We just want to thank all our lovely Patreon members. We've got Sean Fear, Ian Seavey, René Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Van Serena, Ben Thomas, Chris Leddy, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Brader, Thomas Clark, Dan Lee, Dinny Martin, Stephen Kratt, Big Fern, King Zach, Susan Mariquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bermondsky, Rick De Gregorio, John the Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Assassina, The Illustrious Rain, Alid Morgan, Takar3 Wah, Derek Bezadzinski, Pablo Meza, Carlos Sevilla, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Maton, Jimmy James, Stephen Purchase, Sean Yahtzee, Scott Bradley, Steve Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer.
Just waiting for that last bit. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, gotta love it. You got to do that. Dean's the man, but I had to pay tribute to him there as he says Jose CZ instead of Jose CZ. So if you're interested, then join the Patreon. We've got Sweet Angel $5 a month, which gets you a sticker sent straight to your door, as well as access to Ox After Dark replay. Certified Crispy $15 a month. It gets you all those benefits plus a certified Crispy certificate on first pledge and assistance with figure fixes by Zach or possibly me and you if someone in the UK needs some advice or needs something done. And the top tier is the What a Guy, $25 a month, gets you the What a Guy exclusive POG Deluxe set on first pledge and doubles all the stickers we send, so you can give them to your friends and family, all the benefits of the previous tiers. So the September Patreon benefits, we're celebrating our 2000th YouTube subscriber, which we hit a couple of weeks ago. So thank you everybody that's subscribed and got us over that big landmark as we head towards 3,000. So you got the 2000 celebration sticker, and then we've got the Live and Let Dice sticker. I don't know what kind of D would that be? Is that just a D6 seen from an angle, or is that a?
No, that would be a D12.
Yeah,
12-sided.
D12. Yeah, it looks. Anyway, it's one of those fancy D&D dice. Yes, that's cool. So that's what you'll get if you sign up for Patreon in September. We're only a third of the way through, so you've got plenty of time to do that. Also, we have YouTube channel members to shout out. We've got Mojo Z78, Absolute Irwin, Test Just 1, DK Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S-Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Zamgist, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hanson, Chris V, Big Old Fern, OG Fan, the Perimricas, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Lima Hernandez, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Mendez, Luke Fredericks, and Sia Dreams. And if you want to have your name shouted out as a YouTube channel member, then you can join for 99 cents a month if you are already on the Patreon. You get loyalty badges, emojis, and member shout-outs. Or if you're not a Patreon and you just want to become a YouTube member, you can join the Peanut Gallery for $2.99 a month, and you get all the perks from the previous level. So I should put a link in for the Patreon there. If you want to support us, we've got the TeePublic website, and I'll put a link in for that, so you can get t-shirts with logos and bits and pieces from past shows. I'm wearing an original Only Fools and Collecting one right now. I need to get an OFAC one at some point, but yeah, they're pretty cool. So yeah, and then I will leave the network in your capable hands, sir.
The assassination of the network. So we have Collecting Weekly, which is them every single week. I would love to have listened to the last couple, but if I'm honest, I haven't. I've been terrible with my podcasts.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But I am assured that it's been very, very good. We have After Dark, which is the seedier side of life, which is the bumping in the night, the things they do in the shadows. It's very sordid. It's a very keys in a bowl type situation. It's just
there's a lot of penis talk.
There's a lot of penis talk, and there's a lot of penis play, I would imagine. You've also got Collecting Weekly Live Unboxing. Again, if you've got anything come through from Amazon, if you've got anything. It makes no odds. Pair of gloves go on, it gets unboxed.
Yeah,
it could be fucking massive, it could be tiny, it doesn't make any odds.
STD test, anything.
Exactly, COVID test, anything. Anything, really.
Film it, and they'll show it on there,
Yep, they're not proud. Absolutely anything. And then we have the paramount of perfection. This is why we're top line, you see. We may not get the same views as everyone else, but we're top line.
Top line in the middle.
Top line in the middle. Your eye goes straight to it. Boom. OFAC. Us. The reason why the network exists. The best of the best. It's us. So you've then got Bricks and Brews, which is grown men drinking alcohol pops building Lego. I'm pretty sure that's a really, really niche kind of Pornhub search. You've also got Collectors Club, which their logo is John with a dick in his mouth, which is fantastic. He really needs to change that because it's just not great. But Collectors Club, again, fantastic, well worth watching. Small Talk, which I say every fucking week. I don't know how they keep up with it. It's just Hasbro make them their bitch. It's really thick and fast.
I was really disappointed because I was in on Thursday night when they broadcast. So they're it's about 2 or 3 in the morning UK time, and normally I'd be fast asleep and I would be thinking. But as it happened, I was sleeping in a tent in my mum and dad's back garden because it was my son's 12th birthday, and he had like a couple of mates, and they were staying in a big tent and everything. So I was like security at the end of the garden. And what with being in a tent and my hand hurting and needing to get up I was constantly getting up for a piss. I went about 5 or 6 times in the bushes, whatever. And so I happened to be awake, and I was like, oh, Small Talk. And I put it on, only to discover it was pre-recorded. So I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was about to start commenting and that, and then someone went, oh, it's pre-recorded. Oh, that's a shame. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed, but it did help me get through and get me back to sleep. Not that it wasn't great; it was great, but I do love Small Talk, and I don't love Dylan's moustache. I find it quite intimidating and repulsive, but it's a strong look, and he's rocking it. But yeah,
he's a confident man to have to rock that. I'll tell you. But, hey, hello. All right, my man. Here he is. Here he is. Yeah. Gone but not forgotten, mate. Gone but not forgotten. We have the Ringcast, which, again, isn't about a battered arsehole. It's about Lord of the Rings, which hopefully will be on soon. Or was it on a few weeks ago?
No, it was talk of being one sat last weekend to obviously capture the hype of Rings of Power. And to be honest, we really should be on talking about the new Lord of the Rings show. So hopefully we'll be back with that very soon. But
worst case, we keep banging that drum on OFAC.
Yeah. Come on, Mark, get a show together, mate. We're ready.
Yeah. Put the booze down and get on with the show.
Put down your vodka cranberry and.
Yeah. I mean, that's a strong drink choice, that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You only order that in certain bars. So we've got Live and Let Dice, which is all Dungeons and Dragons, which I've got newfound respect for after seeing how absolutely tiny their models are. Could not do it. So yeah, that is us. That's the network. That's everyone. That's the empire. I also collected Weekly Clips, which I almost forgot about. All the funny shit that goes on gets clipped into bite-sized chunks and put on clips. So there we go. So that's it, mate. We're done. We're done. A Good nice, show. Neat hour and a half, not 3 hours.
Can't remember the last time we hit that mark. So it's efficient. Nailed it.
Exactly.
I can get back to watching another 7 hours of tributes to Her Majesty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like you have to have it on, but it's it's how many times can they say the same thing over and over and over again?
It's any time anything to do with the royal family any time I've the news presenter who has to sit in the BBC studio just going, and now they make their way to the front of the gates, very sad, and they've walked backwards, and it's winter, so they're all wearing coats, and you think just say you're going to come back when something happens. Like, I'll be fine with that. Because it can't be comfortable for like the actual royal family themselves to just have hundreds of people constantly on them when they don't need it. Like, but very sad.
Sad day. But Britain will carry on strong with our new king and our new prime minister. I mean, this place is we're in a massive state of flux at the moment. God knows what will be like next year, but hopefully we'll still be here, and we won't have frozen in our.
No, we'd just be by candlelight.
Yeah.
That's all it'd be. It'd be like candlelight. Run a fast forwarding back to the Victorian era.
So pray we all make it through the winter, and it's not too harsh, and we might still make it to 100 shows outside next year. But we'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly that. Cool. Well,
nice to spend time with you again, mate. And
exactly, you too, and we shall see you all next time. Ta-ta, buyers.